White House official in the George W. Bush administration. Ashley Davis is with us, Democratic strategist and NewsNation contributor. Kurt Bardella is going to put down his phone here in a second and join us on set from his very popular Twitter account. I'll start with you, Kurt. Is this tacit admission by the Biden administration and what the risk of that is from saying, yes, there are things we can do about the border, we're just choosing not to do them?
I mean, I think this is kind of like the no-win situation for the Biden administration, right? On one hand, the right has been pummeling the Biden administration for months now about the border, and we've seen the rise in public opinion about immigration ranking higher as concern for voters. On the other, when they do start talking about doing something and potentially considering executive orders, the left gets enraged, saying, you're going too far. What are you doing? How have you not consulted us? The Congressional Hispanic Caucus is livid right now about what some of these proposals are that the president is considering. So it's a no-win situation for them. So I think that they err on the side of doing something so that when you get into the summer and then the campaign season, you at least have something you can point to the majority of the American people who are seeing everyday immigration be escalated as an issue. They can at least say, hey, we tried to do something with Congress. Republicans blocked it. We did an executive order. What else more could you want from us?
Right, if you think about this circuit breaker number, if you will, that at this number of 2,500 is when they say we're not accepting any more asylum claims for the day. 2,500 is a lot lower than 4,000 or 5,000, which was what was floated a couple of months ago, Ashley. That means that come October, like it or not, from a Republican perspective, the numbers on the border, the raw numbers that we see reported are going to be lower. That's something Joe Biden is going to be able to run on an issue that is either one or two for voters.
I just don't think, I think this is way too late, and I think that this is something that he could have done 3.5 years ago, and him doing it 6 months before an election is something that's not going to matter. I mean, this issue is very near and dear to my heart, and I feel that what has happened already with how many people have crossed the border that we know about that are on the terrorist watch list is the main problem. So it doesn't matter. And I do agree it's a no-win situation, but this is a national security, national economic issue and a humanitarian issue that the administration has ignored for 3.5 years, saying that they had absolutely no ability to do anything about it, and obviously he has. And this is one issue
To be fair, it said we couldn't do anything about it, but did lots of things. They ended all the Trump-era executive orders, in numbers of speeches during the campaigns, and we're going to welcome people to the United States. We keep putting up that same piece of video along the border fence, and yes, the border problem begins on the border. It has now come into every city in America. Kellie, you pointed out John Tester of Montana and Bob Casey of Pennsylvania, both senators with tough re-election campaigns, who realize how big of a problem immigration is and how big of a problem immigration is for Democrats. Yeah. Do moderate Democrats think that there's enough? How much pressure is there within the Democratic Party to do more?
Well, I think you're going to see the White House today also say that they've been trying to work on this on Capitol Hill. They tried to push for that bipartisan border bill that was, really kind of went down earlier this year. So they're going to look back to that. They're still trying to get that through. They made that effort a couple weeks ago on the Hill again. But we're seeing as well Baldwin in Wisconsin, Rosen in Nevada. Those are also two other senators that won't be there today. But it would be interesting to see. I was thinking some of those mayors that weren't invited, or were invited and declined, what if they did bring all of these guys together for that conversation and have that and discuss some solutions? And I think that's what we're hearing from folks on the road, on the campaign trail, from the American people, that they just want to see a bipartisan solution, everybody come together, figure out how to solve this crisis.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.